Alright, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen of Twitch? This is Ohgrr here. I'm going to be explaining Akasha in minor detail. There's a lot more to Akasha than what I'm going to explain today. I'm also going to explain how to effectively grind Akasha. I just finished up the last zone of Ruko Town, known as Best Showtime. There's a lot easier way to do it than actually trying to level all the way through. You can notice that I'm only level 11 and I'm already done with it. Essentially what you can do is the first episode on normal over and over and over again, and it gives you the same amount of XP. You only have to complete it 5 times and you'll have 100% completion of Best Showtime. So it's a little bit easier than trying to get all the levels and do all the extra stuff that you need to do to get up normally. Let me just start out by saying everything that I'm going to mention in this video is actually from a paste bin that I had found from another streamer who had probably gotten that from someone else. So this is kind of recycled information. So I just want to be kind of upfront with you guys about that and let you know that this isn't all my doing. The beautiful thing about this whole build is that it really doesn't take too long. It takes probably about an hour, and you're looking at getting a ton of Akasha transmitters. I have 6 here, and I've opened one already, so I have 7. You're gonna get more anti-destructions and respawners in this. I've already transferred a lot of the items that I normally would be transferring over. So, like I said, this is about a 2-part video. So in order to effectively grind Akasha, you're essentially going to make a new character. You can delete a character every 24 hours after creating a character. So you're able to essentially complete Ruko Town in about an hour like I did. You're going to get a jewelry chest for your character as well as a fashion chest at level 1 and 10. These are great. Oh, I get a garbage item. Nose claw. I don't want those. But you're going to get 2 fashion items. I've already transferred some of them over to my other account like I'd mentioned. But you get... I'm repeating myself like a broken record, so I apologize. You get 2 fashion items, some gluten gold. You're also going to get some crafting materials, some money, and the 7 Akasha transmitters, 4 anti-destructions, and 4 premium respawns. These are just really useful because if you're already playing the game and you're kind of getting into it, you realize how hard it is to get Akasha transmitters and do the grind for that. It just gets more and more sparse over time, but doing something like this only takes an hour, and it's really, really effective. I'm going to go through the steps, but I'm also going to post the paste bin down below in case anybody's curious. Essentially, you're going to grab a character and do the first area. Like, it's that simple. You're just going to level up. If you want to make it as effective as possible for yourself, getting some... Oop, wrong item. Or wrong button. Getting XP gear is probably your best bet. So I have 5% here, 5% there, and another 4% there. I had an XP weapon and helmet, but I ended up changing them just to get that last boss fight done a little bit faster. And just run through Ruko Town. Do every quest that you need to do. If you ever run into a spot where you're not high enough level to do the next quest in order for the storyline, just go back, district, do it on Manic. You don't have to complete it, just get your levels. You can die, it's not a big deal, you can move on. That being said, I'm going to kind of transfer everything over now, and we're going to open some Akashas and hope for some good ones, and hopefully I can discuss about what Akashas you're looking for, what are good, what are bad, things like that. I'm just going to skip. We got... some okay Akashas, like nothing. This is really strong. This is really, really strong. But everything else, that's pretty okay if you really need the health. But let me transfer these over. Alright, so I have switched characters now. I'm going to kind of discuss what Akasha I'm using currently on this character, why they're good, why they're not, and what you're looking for when you are getting your Akasha, and things to keep in mind when using them. Just a quick tip back to the last part. When you're doing that grind, if you're going to consistently do the same character, let's say you're going to do Lily over and over and over again, you can find yourself a decent level 6, 7, and 8 weapon to improve yourself and just up it to a +4 to speed up the run. See if you can't find XP on items and just continually use them on that same character over and over again. Anyway, back to the bank. I'm going to just kind of pull out all these extra Akasha. Actually, the only Akasha I really want is this one. I already have a lot of these, unfortunately. That's 2 chasers now. Just organize just a little bit. I'll go through some of the stuff later on. So the reason this card is really good, at a higher level, this gets it grants a higher level of stamina. So we're going to use it, and I can kind of show you. Something that's underused is actually coming over to our Akasha lady over here. She can kind of show you what your future upgrades of item are going to look like. So when we go to Megadon's Rage, the next level will give us 20% stamina, and then the max level will give us 25% stamina every 5.5 seconds, which once you hit the higher tier, if you've played it, you'll understand that stamina is very, very important. And with a card like this, you can actually run 2 different stars of a card. So you can run a 3-star and a 2-star version of a card. You can even run a 1-star version of a card if you want, but that's a little overkill. But if you're running 2 of these, you're getting about 50% stamina, because, you know, okay, I'm sorry, specifically 45% stamina. You know, let me use proper numbers here. Every 5.5 seconds, which allows you to just infinitely dodge in dungeons. Currently on my character, I am running a card called Scrawl, which gives me bonus as any. This is a great card. So the reason is it's a passive that you don't really like need to use, right? It's probably not the best wording, and I'm sorry, I'm doing all this live, so it's gonna be a little awkward for me. When you're looking at Akasha cards, you want passives that are always applicable and passives that will just make your game a little bit easier. And something like Scrawl is just nice because he's always great, giving you extra zenny. And when you're playing the game, 10% adds up real quick, especially when you're using other titles and other gear that'll give you bonus to zenny. I think I'm running about a 30% bonus to zenny based off my titles right now, and that's really nice. A card like this is just a fat 5% bonus to damage. There's an upgraded hidden version of this card, which is called Shadow Dancers, which is a 6%. So it's only a 1% difference, but hidden cards grant minor bonuses like that. So for those of you who didn't know, there are 2 versions of a card. I do have the hidden Shadow Dancers, but it's on my my Erwin, not this character, unfortunately, so I can't show you at the moment. I also have this, which is not the best, but I really just needed something to kind of fill a slot right now, and this is the best thing. But now I'm going to replace this with Megadons. But this card, where did the card I was using go? I'm sorry. So this just gives me bonus HP. It's a 10% bonus if I need it. It's not that great, but it's something. For actives, you're looking for things that can either heal you or burst in a large amount. There's a card that a lot of people use in the early stages of the game known as Rita. Rita just does stupid damage. Like, you'll see Rita actually one-shot bosses. You'll see a lot of late game players use it as well, because if you have a whole party of Ritas, you're just burning through bosses, especially with all the soulstone bonuses. I'm currently using this because it's nice. It reduces enemy HP, so it's bonus damage, and then it also does a little bit of CC at the end, which isn't listed for some reason. When you're looking at cards, you can kind of just dictate how good and bad they are just genuinely by looking at them. This card gives me a 5% possibility that I get 50% bonus defense for 5 seconds. It's not great, not bad, but defense isn't that important when you're running a card like this, which allows you to dodge every second and you don't have to worry so much about your energy consumption. A card like this in a late stages of the game can be okay, but again, let's think about the reality of it. At every 100 combo strikes, I get a 3% bonus to damage. So at 300, I get 9% damage. That's okay, but I could just take this and always have a constant 5% and not have to worry about my combos, especially when I'm one-shotting bosses or having to kite and do things like that. Now this card right here, this is Shade. She's actually one of the best cards in the game. She's one of the best late game cards. I just don't have her leveled up. Shade is really good because you get a 5% probability that you gain 20% crit chance. It's only for 2.5 seconds, but the cooldown is 10 seconds, so there's only a 7.5 second downtime. There are cards that'll be coming out later in packs and things like that that do the same thing, but with no cooldown, so keep your eye out for those, and if you can find those, use them. They're absolutely amazing. The biggest stat when it comes to late game in Soulworker is your crit and your crit damage, and Shade is just amazing because of what I had mentioned earlier, where you have the ability to stack 2 cards. So you can have a 3-star Shade and a 2-star Shade and be running, I believe, a 25% crit chance. Or does the probability go up? Let's go find out. You know, this is the beauty of being here and actually putting in the time and the discussion. You can always look at things, and if you're part of a guild, ask them. If you're not 100% sure what you're going to get, okay, so it increases duration and it increases probability when you level up Shade. So that's awesome. So if you have the ability to, get your 2-star and your 3-star Shade and level her up. Or I guess not 2 and 3-star, but you understand what I'm saying here. Your strategist Shade and your master strategist Shade. And use them. Anything that grants you crit damage, or crit chance is absolutely amazing. I have a card on my other Erwin that gives crit chance like 4% and then damage 6%, which is awesome. So Akasha, honestly, aren't that complicated when you look at it. You're just looking for things that give you crit damage, just bonuses to damage, or just passives that you don't really have to think of that will improve your gameplay. Stamina is always something great. Anything that might heal you or give you defense is always pretty nice as well. If you guys have questions about any of these things, feel free to drop down below. If you feel like I didn't explain everything well enough, feel free to let me know, and I can maybe make a follow-up video that'll go a little more in depth. Like I said, going into this was just kind of a tip of the iceberg kind of deal, and just kind of explaining how to grind Akasha and like a a bare bones explanation of Akasha. A good balance, by the way, is about 2 to 3. 2 actives to 3 passives. You can honestly run 5 passives if you have a good enough card set, you know, damage, crit chance, all that kind of thing. But if you have good actives, feel free to use them. Like I said, Rita is probably like the best active by a mile in the game right now. I'm currently running this just for safety, and when I'm doing dungeons with people, the heal is just nice, and it also paralyzes nearby enemies, and it heals allies. So it's not bad, and it's just kind of a slot filler. When I get something better to fill the slot, I probably will. I might start using Shade, which I'm probably just going to do now. And then this is just a nice AoE. Like, this is a massive AoE. So when it comes to using Akasha, this is just like my final closing notes. Just understand that some cards are really good, some cards are going to be really bad, but it's on you to kind of tinker around and like play around your build. If you're not running a, like, say you're running a Stella and something gives you ability cooldowns, or like it reduces your cooldowns for whatever reason, you know, something like that could be amazing. Or let's say you're having a hard time kiting enemies, something like Oil Bomb could be really good for you because it just slows them down. Or even the Surprise, which is a stun for AoE. Just kind of look at what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish. If you ever have questions about whether a card's good or not, again, guilds, local chat, things like that, people will respond, especially outside of Ruko Town. I know Ruko Town's a little bit of a cluster, but you can only do what you can only do so much in those situations. I apologize for like the long-windedness of this video, and if things weren't explained well enough, or if you have differing opinions, feel free to drop them below. The goal here is to help people. It's not to be, you know, my way or the highway. And again, if you guys are curious about that grinding guide, I'm going to be posting the paste bin down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, you know, help support the channel, and come by my stream sometime. I'm not the best player, but I try to help out people as much as I can. You're also going to find that link down below. So thank you guys so much for the support, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video.